Continuing with Deuteronomy 31:14. And the Lord said to Moshe, Behold, thy days approach that thou must die. Call Yehoshua, and present yourselves in the tent of meeting, that I may give him a charge. And Moshe and Yehoshua went and presented themselves in the tent of meeting. And the Lord appeared in the tent in a pillar of cloud, and the pillar of the cloud stood over the door of the tent. And the Lord said to Moshe, Behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people will rise up and go astray after the gods of the strangers of the land into which they go to be among them. And I will forsake me, and break my covenant which I have made with them. Then my anger will burn against them on that day, and I will forsake them. And I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say on that day, Are not these evils come upon us because our God is not among us? And I shall surely hide my face on that day for all the evils which they have perpetrated, in that they have turned to other gods. Now therefore write this poem for yourselves, and teach it the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, that this poem may be a witness for me against the children of Israel. For when I shall have brought them into the land of which I swore to their fathers, one flowing with milk and honey, and they shall have eaten and filled themselves and grown fat, then will they turn to other gods and serve them, and provoke me, and break my covenant. And it shall come to pass, when many evils and troubles have befallen them, that this poem shall testify against them as a witness, for it shall not be forgotten out of their mouths of their seed. For I know their inclination and what they do, even now, before I have brought them into the land which I swore. Moshe therefore wrote this poem the same day, and taught it the children of Israel. And he gave Yehoshua the son of Nun a charge, and said, Be strong and of good courage, for thou shalt bring the children of Israel into the land which I swore to them, and I will be with thee. And it came to pass, when Moshe had made an end of writing the words of this Torah in a book, until they were finished, that Moshe commanded the Levites, who bore the ark of the covenant of the Lord, saying, Take this book of the Torah, and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, that it may be there for a witness against thee. For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellious against the Lord, and how much more after my death? Gather to me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to witness against them. For I know that after my death you will surely become corrupted, and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you. And evil will befall you in the latter days, because you will do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. And Moshe spoke in the ears of all the congregation of Israel the words of this poem until they were ended. Give ear, O heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drip as the rain. My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass. Because I will call on the name of the Lord, ascribe greatness to our God. He is the rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are justice. A God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he. Not his the corruption, but the blemish of his sons. They are perverse and crooked generation. Do you thus requite the Lord? O foolish people and unwise, is not he thy father that brought thee? Is not he thy father that bought thee? Has he not made thee and established thee? Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will recount it to thee. thy elders, and they will tell thee, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people, according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Yaakov is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in a desert land and in the waste howling wilderness. He led him about, he instructed him, he kept him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirs up her nest, broods over her young, spreads abroad her wings, takes them, bears them on her pinions. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, and he ate the produce of the fields, and he made him suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock, butter of kine, and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs, with rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats, with the fat of kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink wine of the pure blood of the grape. But Yeshurun grew fat and kicked. Thou art grown fat, thou art become thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God who made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations they provoked him to anger. They sacrificed to powerless spirits, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begot thee thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them, because of the provocation of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very perverse generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with a no God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. And I will move them to jealousy with a no people, and I will provoke them to anger with a vile nation. For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn to the nethermost parts of the earth, and shall consume the earth with its produce, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spend my arrows on them. They shall be sucked empty by hunger and devoured with burning heat and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of crawling things of the dust. The sword without and terror within shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. I said I would scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. Were it not for the heaped up wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should misdeem, and lest they should say, Our hand is high, and the Lord has not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, and that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. How should one man chase 1,000, and put 10,000 to flight? And two put 10,000 to flight, unless their rock had sold them, and the Lord had shut them up? For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. For their vine is the vine of Sodom, and the fields of Amorah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, and their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the fierceness of crocodiles, the cruel venom of asps. Is not this laid up in store with me, and sealed up among my treasures? To me belongs vengeance and recompense when their foot slides, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that come upon them make haste. For the Lord shall judge his people, and repent himself for his servants, when he sees that their power is gone, and there's none shut up or left. And he shall say, Where are their gods, their rock in whom they trusted, those that did eat of the fat of their sacrifices, and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help you, and be your protection. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. If I whet my glittering sword, and my hand takes hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies, and will reward those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, with the blood of the slain and of the captives, with the head of the wild bands of the enemy. Rejoice, O nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries. And will forgive his land and his people. That's Deuteronomy 32 up to 44. 32 to 44.